I'm a 35-year-old man, and my ex, a 33-year-old woman, and I were together for nearly 7 years. We were never officially married, but we lived together, had joint bank accounts, split bills, owned a dog, shared mutual friends, and lived like a couple. I managed the finances. She had been working on and off for a while, and when some health problems came up, I agreed to support her fully. I took care of most of the costs: groceries, utilities, streaming services, vet bills. Everything except half the rent, which she covered using her disability payments. It wasn't ideal, but I thought it was just temporary, especially since her injury had mostly healed by then. To earn more, I accepted a contract job out of state. It kept me away for several weeks at a time, but it helped us pay off bills and build up some savings. I truly believed she appreciated the sacrifice I was making. Between contracts, I'd come home and we'd talk about our future. She didn't love the long distance, but I reassured her it was for both of us. None of the local jobs paid as well. We needed the extra income, especially since she would need surgery in the future. Then around February, she admitted she had cheated. She said the guilt was eating at her, and she had to be honest with me. First, I respected her honesty, but things quickly fell apart. The way she told me made it seem like she was doing me a favor by confessing. I asked her simple questions: when it happened, who it was, how long it had been going on. Her answers were vague. She claimed it wasn't serious, just a mistake, a poor decision that didn't mean anything. She said it was already over and insisted it didn't matter anymore. Then she became defensive. She didn't want to keep talking about it because, according to her, it only made her feel worse. She didn't seem genuinely sorry. It felt more like she was bothered by the inconvenience. First, I believed maybe we could work through it. It was just an emotional affair, and I understood the situation that led to it. I told her I'd be open to trying therapy. I didn't forgive her right away, but I also didn't want to throw away 7 years together. She agreed. But during our first couples session, it felt like a punch to the stomach. She took control of the whole session, spoke over me, and described me as emotionally unavailable. She said she felt abandoned, like I was barely ever home, and that she had to handle everything by herself. She ignored the fact that she had free housing, food, and complete independence. When I finally got the chance to speak, I said I didn't feel respected. I felt unappreciated, like all the long hours I worked out of state to support us didn't matter. She interrupted and said that wasn't true, accusing me of trying to make her the villain. I asked her directly, "Why did you cheat?" And her answer always came back to the same thing: "You weren't around." I didn't feel emotionally supported. I felt lonely. Not once did she say, "I made a mistake." I told her the only way I could even think about staying was if she also started individual therapy. She agreed at first. But when I followed up about the appointment details, she said it wasn't a priority right now because she felt I had more problems than she did. So I told her the relationship wasn't a priority to me anymore either. As soon as I said that, everything changed. Suddenly, I was the abuser, controlling, emotionally manipulative. She said I always judged her, that she had to tiptoe around me, and that I made her feel small. She claimed I used money to control her, that she felt stuck with me. It was like she had a prepared speech. None of this had ever been mentioned during our 7 years together. But now that I was leaving, it was like she had a list ready to go. I told her I didn't want to argue. I just wanted to move out peacefully. I let her keep the apartment, the furniture, everything. I simply didn't want to stay there anymore. She said, "You owe me that much." That was the last thing she said to me before I walked out the door. The cheating was painful, but who she became afterward, that was the deeper betrayal. It's been 3 weeks since the day she told me, and I still find myself thinking about how none of it makes sense. I supported her in every way I could. I paid the bills, worked far from home so she could live comfortably, and she still did this. And after everything, she tried to paint herself as the victim, as if I was the one who broke her trust. I could have worked through the betrayal if she had been honest about it, but she wasn't. Now I'm gone, and she's left with the lease in her name and a stack of bills to handle. Update. It's been about a month since I moved out. I've stayed quiet, signed a new lease, bought new furniture, and I'm close to buying a new car. Each day, I realize how much I'm saving now that her medical bills are no longer piling up. I blocked her on everything after the last time she tried turning the situation around on me. I thought that was the end of it. But earlier this week, I heard from a mutual friend that she's now living with a new guy, in the same apartment I left behind. Turns out, it's the same man she once said was just a friend from her previous job. Apparently they're together now, or maybe they had been all along. I'm not sure. And to be honest, I don't care anymore. I was still processing all this when she reached out again, as if nothing had ever happened. She messaged me from a new number and said she missed talking to me. She asked how I was doing and said she hoped we could reconnect, maybe even meet in person. I didn't reply. A couple of days later, another message came through asking if I could help her out with a small amount, just until she got a few things sorted. Seriously. She kept sending more messages saying things like, "You always stood by me, so why not now when I really need it? You know I wouldn't ask if I had anyone else." All while she's sleeping next to someone else in the apartment I paid most of the bills for. Still no responsibility. Still no sincere apology. Just another request disguised as a heart-to-heart. I didn't respond. But I did ask around. Apparently, the guy she's living with doesn't have a job either. Neither does she. They've both been seen just sitting around all day while she reaches out to people asking for help. She's been telling others she's overwhelmed and doing her best. That was the same excuse I used to hear. Yesterday, a mutual friend asked if I was really going to just let her struggle. I told him, I'm not letting her do anything. She chose this path and dug the hole herself. That's not on me. I told him that accountability isn't cruelty. He admitted I had a point, then added that she borrowed a few $100s from him too and never paid it back. Pattern confirmed. I even wrote a message in response to her first text, something firm about boundaries and self-respect, but I deleted it. No response is a response. She doesn't want a conversation. She wants access. If I send money now, she'll just ask again when rent is due, or when the dog needs shots, or when the car breaks down. The cycle ends when the support ends. I remembered how she looked at me after D-Day. How quickly she shifted the blame. How she made me feel like I was crazy for being hurt. Like her cheating was somehow a reaction to my failure. I remembered sitting in that therapy session, listening to her talk about how unloved, unsupported, and forgotten she felt. While I was working 60-hour weeks to pay the bills and prepare for her surgery. There's no relationship left to fix. No friendship to fall back on. No goodwill left to offer. The door is closed. If she messages me again, I won't even open it. I'm sharing this for anyone who's in those early weeks, second-guessing whether going no contact is too harsh. It's not. Protect your finances, your time, and your peace of mind. If they truly valued you, they wouldn't be lining up a backup plan while still trying to keep a hand in your wallet. Took me 7 years to learn that lesson. You don't have to. She's not reaching out because she misses you. She's reaching out because her safety net didn't hold up. That's not love. That's survival mode. You gave her more than enough. Stay no contact. Let her face the consequences of her own choices. You can tell a lot about someone by how they act after they get caught. Her first instinct wasn't to reflect or repair. It was to blame, replace, and circle back when things got tough. I'm glad you didn't fall for the "just until my disability comes in" excuse. Mine used the same line. Turned out she never even applied. They're not asking for help. They're asking for access. Cutting that off is the healthiest move you could have made. Mine didn't even wait until I moved out before lining someone else up. She made it sound like I had abandoned her. This is what they do when reality finally catches up. They rewrite the story, play the victim, and hope you feel guilty enough to rescue them. You don't owe her anything. Keep walking.